Hi everyone, Gemma here, thanks for watching today. In this video I'm going to be creating a 5x7 faceted vertical easel card. This make was inspired by Sam Calcott and I'll link her video in the description box below. I have made some alterations to the original design. I have changed the sizing and changed the front display. There are no specialty dies required for this make. And the papers that I'm going to be using to create the card is the RSPB Frosty Morning 8x8 paper pack. And I've chosen this lovely design here. I'm also going to be using some ephemera from the pack as well for my sentiment. To make the card base you need a piece of 10x7. Along the 10-inch side you want to score it 5, 6 and 8, and we'll also do some further scoring. For my mat I'm going to be using this glitter cardstock, and you'll need 2 pieces of 1 3/4 by 6 3/4, 1 piece of 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and 2 pieces of 6 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch. For my layers I'm going to be using this pattern paper, and you want 2 pieces of 1 1/2 by 6 1/2, 2 pieces of 6 1/2 by 1/2 inch. So you want a piece of 3 1/8 by 3 1/8, and then a piece of 1 by 7, and then lastly a piece of acetate that measures just over 3 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch. So we need to do some additional scoring on our card base. So we're going to be working within this square here. So we have our first score line here, and then the second, and then the third. So I'm going to rotate my card, and on the second score line I'm going to make a marker at the 3 1/2 inch point. I'm then also going to make the same marker at 3 1/2 at the base of the card, at the bottom edge. You then want to draw a very faint line between those two marker points. Then you want to mark from the second score line to 3/4 of an inch, so just there. And then you want to come in 3/4 of an inch on that pencil line that we drew from the opposite side. So you should have one marker there, one marker there, and then you've come in 3/4 of an inch that side and 3/4 of an inch that side. So we're going to rotate it again, and then working on the third score line, you're going to mark up the score line at 1 1/2 inches on either side. So come in 1 1/2 there and 1 1/2 there and make a marker. And then what we're going to do is score along our marker points and join them up. So you want to take a ruler and a stylus, and we're going to join up the marker point from the top here down to that point there. And we're just going to go all the way around, joining those marker points. So now that we have our additional score lines, we're going to fold and burnish. So the first score line here is a mountain fold, the second is a valley, and the third is a mountain. Okay, and then we're going to fold the card over with the folded edge facing us. We're going to cut up that center pencil line to the triangle point there. Then you're sort of left with a shape like this. Once you've cut that, you then want to mountain fold these score lines. Pinch those pieces in, and then the easel will sit up like so. So the next thing I'm going to do is open the card base, and I want to add glue all along this 1-inch panel here. So this piece then is stuck to the back of the card. Okay, the next thing I want to do is add my piece of acetate so that it goes either side of this faceted diamond shape, and it's sitting at the center point. So I'm going to add some red tape and get that stuck down. So I'm just adding some red tape on either side of the acetate, and I'm going to do it on both sides. So I've just removed my backing paper, and I'm just going to sit that now at the center of the card, either side of our faceted piece. The next thing we're going to do is work on the mats and layers. So I've prepared templates for both. So for the mat piece, you'll have a piece of 1 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, so you should have already cut that. So if we rotate it, and we have the 6 3/4 side at the bottom, and we're going to make some markers. So along this side we're going to come into 1 1/4 and make a marker. Then from the bottom you want to come up 1 1/4, make a marker. Then along the bottom edge you want to make a marker at the center point, so that's 3 5/8, and then you want to mark up 3/8 of an inch from the bottom and join this point with this point, that point with that point, and then cut it out so you have a shape like this. And then for the second template you want a piece of 1 1/2 by 6 1/2. So working along the 6 1/2 inch side, you want to mark down to 1 1/8, and then come up from the bottom 1 1/8. Then along this edge make a marker at the center point, which is 3 1/4. Then you want to come up 1/8 of an inch and make a marker there. Join that marker with that marker, that marker with that marker, and cut along that line, and you're left with a piece like this. So I'm taking my template, I'm going to flip my cardstock over and draw on my template and cut that out. Obviously be mindful if you're using a directional paper that you've got it in the right orientation. So there's my 2 pieces to fit either side of the faceted piece. Next I'm going to work on my pattern paper. So I have my template piece here and the cardstock. So I want it facing this way, so I'm going to tuck it behind and flip it over so I've got the right orientation. And same as before, just draw around the template and cut that out. Then I'm going to flip my template over so it's on the right side. Place it on my pattern piece, tuck it behind and flip it over again. Next I'm going to take my 1x7 piece and I'm going to attach the glitter cardstock to it first, and then my pattern piece, and I'm going to use double-sided tape on that. Next I'm going to attach this piece to the edge here with some foam tape. I'll add my mats and layers here on this side and there, and I'll come back to you. So I've gone ahead and I've attached all my mats and layers, and as I said, I've attached this panel here on some foam tape, hopefully you can see that, so that when you open the card it tucks behind that spot there, so it'll stand up like so. So lastly I'm just going to add my sentiment on the front here, and I've changed my mind about the blue panel piece. I'm just going for the glitter and the topper that's included within the paper pack. So I'm going to attach those two together and then attach it on the front of my acetate. So I'm just going to add a little bit of red tape here so it'll sit on top. It'll all fold flat, and then when you open it up and tuck it behind that spot it'll pop out. So I've cut my sentiment piece down to 2 3/8 by 2 3/8, and then the glitter card is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then I've added a small piece of red tape there so it sits sort of on the arch of the acetate. So I've popped that in the centre as so, and that just sits nicely there so it sort of pops out from the side. So if this card isn't sparkly enough, I thought I'd add some extra gems just to finish it off. So I've taken some from my stash. I've done a dry run to see if I like the placement, and I'm just going to secure those in place now. So there's the final card. Just bring it up a little closer, show you all the detail. I absolutely love this glitter cardstock, and the pattern paper against the cornflower blue is absolutely beautiful. This isn't my normal colour palette. I just absolutely love how this has come together. So I just want to mention that this card was a request by Annabella, and she requested this card some time ago, so I just want to thank her for her patience while I've been putting this together. So thank you very much for watching today. I hope you're enjoying the 12 Days of Christmas series so far. If you are, give me a thumbs up, a comment, or consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future tutorials. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much for watching. Bye!